Hi there, and welcome to another Technology Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking about Zonefox and their insider threat detection platform. So, what is that? Basically, it's about monitoring and alerting on usage and movement of key data. It can be thought a bit like DLP, but it's more about monitoring than actually doing any preventative stuff. So it's very good to sit on top of DLP as well to make sure that the technologies are in place and not being circumvented. I'm going to show you the product today, and we're going to look at a couple of alerts. The alerts we're going to look at generating is an alert on uploading a file on a browser, copying a file to a USB, and also just accessing restricted data. So let's take a look at that now. If I bring up the admin portal. So this is the default dashboard. As you can see, it's very easy to see what's going on. Very nice to look at, and we can customize it with our own widgets. So let's try doing one here. I'll add one in for one of the roles, and we'll do this for monitoring key data. Okay, I'll briefly show you the demo environment here. So we've got it deployed to 4 different machines here, 2 of which are offline just now. So this really lightweight agent has been deployed, and the agent just collects all the information and throws it up to the server where the rules are applied and analyzed up at the server end. I'd say it is very lightweight, very quick to deploy. You can plug the server into Active Directory. This one isn't. I can show you a bit of that later on. So we go and have a look at some of the rules. Now generating a rule is really easy. Just go through this wizard here. So here's some of the inbuilt rules. Detect browser downloads, if a file is getting printed or backed up to a cloud. So let's try this one. So here we go, we can detect Dropbox, Google, and Microsoft OneDrive. Here, if we were plugged into Active Directory, I could specify particular users or groups to apply this to or to be ignored from this. And we've also got different file types as well. Similarly, ignore them or monitor them. So it's an easy way for doing an exception if you require. And we'll just leave this and set it up as default. So anything backed up to cloud. The severity of the alert, and of course whether we're going to get a notification on it. A wee summary, and that's it. And that really is as easy as it is to set up rules. Let's have a look at some stuff we've got here already. So we've done one where it's going to generate an alert if we put a GIF up over a browser. This is if any software is detected getting installed, new software. This one, just create monitor key data. Let's take a look at this one. So what we've done here is we've defined this location as being some key data that we want to keep an eye on. Again, we've not locked it down by users or activities here, so this is going to be any sort of activity on that location, whether it's reading or writing or copying or whatever. Will generate an alert. And your alerts are shown on here. As we can see, we've done quite a bit of testing today, and you can drill on in and see the additional information there. Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and trigger a couple of alerts for you to have a look at. So the first one we're going to go for is uploading a file. I'm actually running in Tor here, so just to show that it can pick this up as well. So if I go to upload a photo, and I'm going to take this GIF here, and let's take a quick wee look at GIFs is in 3. Okay, I'm going to share that as well because it's Dilbert and you need to share Dilbert. Okay, so if we just refresh this here, see we've gone up to 4, so we've got an alert there. So we drill on into these alerts. We've triggered this browser upload alert, and as we can see, that's us sitting there just now. Done the Dilbert. That's the previous tests that we've done today. So next thing we'll get a look at is file access. So this is the network location which we defined as having the critical data that we want to keep an eye on. So if I were to open up this file here, just have a read of this. Load on up. Okay, so I've had a look at this file. Close it down. Go back to our dashboard. Monitor key data alert. So that was that one. Okay. That's not looking right. Let's just check this time. That's at 13. So this is me just searching for the alert. Doesn't seem to be through yet. Maybe just a timing issue. There we go, 17 now, so that's jumped on up. Oh, probably looking at the wrong one as well. There we go. Okay, so there we go. Personal details 2 was the file that we've just had a look at, so that's recorded in here. So then the other test will be a USB. So if I plug it in USB over here, this drive actually isn't encrypted, it's just a normal USB, but the system can also tell the difference between encrypted and unencrypted devices. So you could also have some rules trigger, maybe you want to allow encrypted devices, but unencrypted should create an alert. So let's open this up. So here's my USB, and let's just take anything and put that onto the USB. How many times have we done this now? This is going to be this on Dilbert 4. Okay, so we've just created Dilbert 4 on there. We go back to our dashboard. And our policy violations on removable media would have jumped on up because I've just run Dilbert 4. So that's a quick overview of some of the things that you can do, how easy it is. See, all that information is recorded in the system. You can drill into it for some forensic analysis, and it's also got this daily report here. Because we're not at the end of today yet, we won't be able to see today's stuff. For instance, we can go back here and there's a bit of testing and see what it looked like there. Apps is quite interesting as well, unseen apps, unapproved apps. So this is, it can check the apps that it sees data traffic on, and alert if it's new ones as well. And we could whitelist these and then they won't turn on up, but we could get an alert on new apps installed and things like that. So let's quickly jump back to some PowerPoint. You can never have enough PowerPoint, can you? So we've shown that. If we move on, there's a few other things that I want to bring to your attention. One's the AD integration. Briefly mentioned that we could do that. There's a nice section called cases, and that's all about bringing all these different alerts and information together in one location, creating a case on it, which obviously helps you build the case and hold everything in one place to be able to take that case further investigation and hand that on to someone else maybe. A section called Teams, which is really good. That's really useful for IT empowering the business to use this tool themselves. So for instance, it's pretty much a group of users. So I could create a group maybe called HR and a group called engineering. And then the engineering can go on in and create alerts create their own rules and their own alerts on what they know for the engineering. So IT might not know what engineering wants to do or what's the critical data. Similarly for HR. And when these users log in, they won't be able to see the other team stuff. So if you're an HR user, you'll only be able to see the HR rules. You'll only be able to see the HR alerts. So you can give that dashboard and the whole ownership of that department across to that department. And of course, IT can then see everything together as well. So I really like Zonefox. As you've seen, it's a really nice, clean interface. It's very, very easy to use. It provides a record of access. It helps with a whole heap of questions. That was a spelling mistake first of all, but then I thought I'd be witty. I mean, we're talking about Zonefox, we're talking about foxes. Where does a fox stay? A fox stays in a hole. So I thought I'd go with that. Slight cover up. It helps with a whole heap of questions like, has anybody circumvented your DLP? Okay, so has somebody found out a way of switching off the protection? Has a laptop accidentally gone in and out without the protection being enabled? It really helps you to find these sort of things. Are admins accessing places that they shouldn't? Are other users accessing places which they shouldn't? Just checks that maybe your group policies and your permissions are correct. You want to make sure, is an HR user accessing engineering? Because if so, that shouldn't be allowed, and we want to alert them that as quick as possible. Is someone installing software they shouldn't? Again, has somebody been able to circumvent whatever we've put in place? Is Bob up to something he shouldn't be? Poor old Bob. He always gets it. But if we've got a suspicion about somebody, then we can just start logging everything that person does and really build up a case against it. If there's no DLP, I don't really see a problem either. So if you're in an industry where you've got some data which is extremely valuable, maybe it's F1 aerodynamics, you really want to have DLP solution in there, protecting and locking down, making it difficult, hopefully impossible for users to maybe use a USB stick in the first place. But like we said, if they can circumvent, this software can pick it up. But if you're not in that sort of industry, or you don't have those sort of controls or technologies, I think you can use Zonefox in a very interesting way. I think as IT people, as techie people, we kind of overcomplicate things sometimes, and we want to use technology in all places, but we don't necessarily need all that complicated technology. So for instance, if I had a policy that went out to my company which said you're not allowed to use USB sticks, and if you're found using them, you'll be reprimanded. We don't necessarily have to have a technology in place to stop USB sticks being used. What we need to do is be able to pick up when they are used and move that across to the business, and then business actions that policy and reprimands the person. So as long as that puts in play, as long as you are recording things and following through on the policy, So you don't necessarily need a DLP technology as well. But obviously, you know, if you, like we said, if you're in that industry where a piece of data is remarkably valuable, then you would want DLP as well as this. So when I was first looking at this software, there was a few things that I thought I'd like to see. So I contacted Matt, the CTO at Zonefox, and I spoke to him about these things, and he showed me that these are in the development list already and will be coming out in the next edition. So a couple of things which I thought it would really like, would benefit from, would be a whitelist for URLs for uploads. So for example, what we saw there is that if you uploaded a GIF anywhere on a browser, you would get an alert. If we had a corporate system of sharing, say like SharePoint or something like that, then you'd have an awful lot of noise being generated by people legitimately uploading things there. So if we had a whitelist to filter them out, I thought that'd be a pretty good thing, and that's on the next release. Also specifically calling out a file copy. So I might, for example, want an informational message on anybody using that critical data, you know, accessing it. Even if they're legitimate users, you know, I'd probably want, you know, a critical warning if an HR department member is accessing engineering files. But if an engineering member is accessing engineering files, I probably just want to record that in a log in case I need that information later on. But if somebody's copying that file, then that should therefore have a critical alert as well. So I wanted to be able to break them out between informational and critical a bit better, so that we can continue to log everything should we need it, but also get alert on critical things. And that's all been put on up and should be in the next release of the code. So I'd just like to say thank you very much. If you're looking for more information on Zonefox, please contact us. We can arrange that for you. We can arrange a POC as well. But we'll sit down and work with you and make sure that the agent can be deployed for you. Look at your specific user cases. What is it that specifically you want to go ahead and block or alert on and gain a bit of knowledge on. Or alternatively, just you can look at zonefox.com for some additional information. But please tell them that Seric sent you. Thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you at the next Technology Tuesday.